Welcome to another OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live. And it's a special day here on OU Insider as you Sooners fans get to rejoice, get to have fun, get to talk with us, get to celebrate. We should have opened up with in the background with celebrate as the intro music. I
We
don't
got to
know.
have the balloons now. How do I make the balloons
How do you
go?
make the balloons go? I don't know if
Isn't it
it'll
the
work.
peace
It
sign?
probably, it probably actually will not do it now because it's
Jazz hands. Cue the balloons. It's not happening.
yeah, Spencer. I think that needs to be the graphic whenever you do it from the YouTube. It's just us doing jazz hands.
Of course, the balloons never deploy when you want them to. They only deploy at the most inconvenient and random of times.
Like a lot of things in this world.
Yes, indeed.
That's
Before
what
we
she
go
said.
any
All right,
further, folks, and we do have a lot to talk about regarding Fasusi's commitment, the path forward for Oklahoma in the 2025 class, what's still left, how soon things are going to get rolling in 2026. So we're going to get to all of that and much more over the course of the live stream. Couple things up front, though. If you want to make sure we get to your question or comment in the YouTube chat, I would recommend that you drop a super chat. You can attach any amount of money, be it $1 or $100. But we make it a point to get to every single super chat throughout the course of the episode. If you don't want to throw a super chat our way, you can just ask us a question via the regular chat. We can't necessarily guarantee that we'll get the chance to respond to it, but easy way to make sure we answer is the super chat function. Also, this episode of OU Insider Live is brought to you by our good friends at Mando. Now, Mando whole body deodorant is going to be your best friend this summer and fall for that matter. It's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours, safe for the whole body, stops odor before it starts. It's American made and available in 4 cologne quality scents: Bourbon Leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and Clover Woods. I know both Brandon and I are big fans of the Bourbon Leather, and we both have our travel size body washes that go with us throughout the season. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or the deodorant wipes, as well as free shipping. And luckily, we got a discount code to help you get hooked on our favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code that equates to over 40% off your starter pack. All you got to do is use code INSIDER at shopmando.com. That's code INSIDER at SHOPMANDO.com. Also, a reminder, go check out the Oklahoma community on the Autograph app. Today's a great day to do it because everybody and their cousin is pumping out Michael Fasusi related content. Click link.ag.fan/boomer and use promo code boomer to check it out. The great thing about Autograph is that it's an app that will give you actual real life rewards just for interacting with content pertinent to your favorite team. So again, link.ag.fan/boomer and promo code boomer. Now, as we shift our focus back to the meat and potatoes of the discussion here, it looks like we already have a super chat.
People
It's
hating on my pan line.
$20 from Mongo. He says, breaking: Texas Pancake Factory Fund has been downgraded to a crepe factory. Shout out to Tommy Wimberly.
Yeah. Well, don't hate on crepes, by the way. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, I'm a big crepe guy. If you've ever been to Paris, the crepe stands they have are uh they're awesome. But I don't know about American crepes as much as I do French crepes. But yeah, those the French crepes are freaking good though. I do get the joke. They did whoop up on old Texas Parker. In the world of Bill Beatonbow, happy birthday, sir. Um, the world of recruiting for Bill Beatonbow specifically, if you were to rank his commits, would you? I think without question, is this number one? Like without question, all time for him, number one.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's hardly a question. By every metric, by every measurement, Brandon, Michael Fasusi is the biggest fish that Oklahoma has ever reeled in on the offensive line. Speaking of the modern recruiting era, you have to add that caveat because there's always somebody that's going to reference like the 1976 recruiting class. Wasn't so and so ranked higher than Michael Fasusi? Maybe so, but in the internet recruiting era, no offensive lineman touches Michael Fasusi. This is the highest ranked guy that Bill Bedenbaugh has ever landed, is the highest ranked guy that Oklahoma has ever landed at the offensive tackle position. And it is the guy, Brandon, that I've felt strongly for a year plus now is the best offensive tackle prospect in this entire class because he is exactly what you want an elite left tackle to look like. Exactly what you want it to look like. And not just physically, right? And I know you got the chance to interact with Fasusi, to interview him, to be present at his commitment today. I think what should excite so many Sooner fans about the possibilities of what a guy like Fasusi could do in Norman is that not only is he exceedingly gifted physically with that 6'6", 290-pound, chiseled, toned, muscular frame, quick feet, natural strength, all of the superlatives from a physical standpoint, but also he's just got a great work ethic, man. He's got a great personality. He's about the right things. He's driven. He meshes well with the culture at Oklahoma. And it's not difficult at all to see him living up to that 5-star billing once he enrolls at Oklahoma and potentially playing a role as early as year one.
Yeah. First and foremost, and I think we have to talk about this for a second because I think it's only right. It's very important. Super Chat brought this to the attention, and I was going to bring it up anyways. But regardless, Super Chat or not, your wife Becca deployed Cole Birdwell. Put it out there. Just wanted to shout out Parker's wife and pray she comes back safe. My second, third, 100th, all of that, Parker. We want to all thank her for her service. So
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you that have sent prayers and offered to send care packages. There have been quite a few people
very cool.
that have messaged me and said, "Hey, send me the APO as soon as you know where she's at, so that we can send a care package." I don't know if there's a lot of secrecy surrounding what her specific squadron does and is doing. So I don't know if I'll be able to pass that along, but if I can, if I do get that clearance to go ahead and let people know where they can send mail, care packages, all that stuff, I'll certainly pass that along to those of you that have requested it. But yes, thank you, Cole, and thanks to all of you.
Yep. On your, I'm gonna answer your question, but I want to get to these super chats real quick because I don't want them hanging in there real quick. We will talk about Fasusi ad nausea. I was there today. It was some of the things he said, even off camera, were just mind blowing. He's a spectacular guy and one that Oklahoma fans are gonna love. Marcus Caps, how's the recruitment for Andrew Babalola? Parker and I think he's going to Michigan. He's been waiting to see what Fasusi was going to do. Truth be told, now that it's out there and Fasusi is committed to the University of Oklahoma, we kind of got the feeling that if Fasusi went elsewhere, Babalola was going to roll down to Norman.
And to be
But
clear, it's still a possibility, albeit not something that any of you
yeah,
should count on because look, if you're trying to sell Babalola on coming to Norman, given the current situation with the 2025 class, etc., what you're probably selling him on is a future at right tackle
yeah,
because Fasusi is your left tackle. Right? And a kid like Babalola, money isn't the end all be all for him. And I think that is evident to everybody that's followed the arc of Babalola's recruitment. But still, when you look at the long term gain or opportunity for gain at playing left tackle in the NFL versus playing right tackle, it's going to be a harder sell, not an impossible one, because here's a great little parallel. Here's a great little example that Oklahoma, if they haven't already deployed in their pursuit of Babalola, might very well deploy. Tyler Guyton played right tackle at Oklahoma. Tyler
Yeah.
Guyton was right tackle for the Sooners. He gets drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. He is looking the part. Admittedly, it's only camp right now, but he is looking the part of a future franchise tackle for that operation.
Okay.
So it is not out of the question that Oklahoma could sell Babalola on a future right tackle opposite Fasusi. Again, it's going to be difficult, but nothing is beyond Bill Bedenbaugh, especially given the emotional lift, I think, and honestly, the hype train that has come in the aftermath of Michael Fasusi's commitment. Because, as you noted, Brandon, we were talking earlier, Fasusi's a guy that's going to get out and recruit on behalf of
Yeah.
Oklahoma. Daniel Akinkunmi not only hosted Fasusi, but he hosted Babalola as well, tweeted at him earlier this evening. So there's going to be an all-out effort to get Babalola on board. He's a take all the way for Oklahoma. they're gonna they're gonna make it work. There's not gonna at no point is Oklahoma just gonna, I guess, mail it in with Babalola and say, okay, whatever decision you want to make, that's fine. No, they're gonna press for the kid. At this point, that's where you can concentrate virtually all of your efforts. I'll go ahead and say it now because anytime we report something behind the paywall, you can only hold it off from the general public for so long before it kind of spreads out organically. But Oklahoma's still making a push for Austin Pay, the 4-star offensive tackle from the state of Utah, as well. His timeline is a little bit lengthier than Babalola's, but right now, with the knowledge that Babalola does not want to wait too much longer to commit, with the momentum that Oklahoma just accrued with Fasusi's public commitment, now is where you strike. Now is where you push all your chips to the middle with Babalola and say, hey, man, come hop on board. This is where you want to be. Nobody is better at this than Bill Bedenbaugh. Nobody can make you more money in the long run than Bill Bedenbaugh. And there's nobody better to pass that message along, Brandon, than Michael Fasusi after the decision that he made today.
There's no doubt about that.
It feels weird to be saying one 5-star offensive tackle
yeah, no,
is
just
probably a
not get
linchpin in your
greedy. Just
recruitment
time
of
to get greedy. Yeah.
another 5-star offensive
Yeah.
tackle. And again, like if you ask me where Babalola ends up committing right now, I would still say Michigan. But as we have reported for weeks, if not months now, it's an Oklahoma Michigan battle more so than it's a Michigan Stanford battle.
Yes. I I think I saw the head guy for another network say it whenever we were so after Pasusi committed, we had like this big screen behind where he committed and Steve Wiltfong was going on because obviously On Three is the one that streamed the commitment, right? And he even said people aren't talking about Oklahoma in this as much as they probably should be right now because they are a major player in this recruitment. And I got to thinking, okay, is he really want to play right tackle? Because, like you said, there's a zero chance. No, I don't want to say zero. There's probably a smaller chance that he's the left tackle than Fasusi the left tackle. Now, whatever. Beanbo likes to tinker with things. You never know how that's going to play out when they get on campus. Um, I let's just say in talking to people there, and you probably know I'm talking about at this point. I mean, you talk to Michael Fasusi, let's just say it. And he's like, yeah, we're going to get some guys. We're going to get some guys that people aren't aware of. We're going to flip some guys like that. He is in recruit mode. Like that is where his mindset is just dialed in recruit. And I don't know if anybody of y'all watched it. You can go to our YouTube. You can watch that interview with him when he did the scrum with the media. What you saw right there is just a small portion of that personality that Fasusi has. And it's a very magnetic personality. People want to be around that. And it's real. I think that's probably the biggest thing is it's very everything that he is about is very real. Everything that he portrays is very real. And so people kind of gravitate towards him. And that's why it was such a big deal whenever he announced like it erupted in that auditorium, Parker, like erupted. It was kind of wild. Well, we can talk about that more here in a second. Utah Sooner has a thank you so much for a super chat. Am I the only one curious about what things are going to look like after this year between Jackson Arnold and Michael Hawkins? If Jackson Arnold is the guy next year, does Hawkins transfer? And Parker answered this last live, absolutely unequivocally, no.
Mhm.
And if Parker, you want to expound on that more, like you did last week or whatever, go for it.
Yeah, I look, I won't spend too terribly long on it, but to answer that question, eh, Michael Hawkins and his folks, they're not rushing anything at Oklahoma. They understand what they signed up for. They they are under no they didn't take anything for granted.
Right.
And they weren't operating under the assumption that, oh, my kid's, Mike is going to beat out Jackson or he's going to transfer. Mike wasn't thinking coming in, oh, I'm going to beat out Jackson or, I'll go play with Leb at Mississippi State. No, that wasn't the thought. That family loves the University of Oklahoma. Trust me, Malik wouldn't be committed to the University of Oklahoma right now if there was not a genuine love amongst that Hawkins clan for everything about Brent Venable's program, about that campus, about the very logo that Mike wears on his helmet now. So he loves being at Oklahoma. That crew loves being at Oklahoma. And whether or not Jackson Arnold is your starter in 2025 or 2026 or 20, whatever the case may be, uh, Mike is where his feet are planted. He's at OU. He's going to be at OU. They have no plans whatsoever to move him from OU. He has no plans to go play football anywhere else. He's exactly where he wants to be. And when his time comes, be it 2 weeks from now or 2 years from now, he's going to be ready. And that's the realization of a dream for that kid. He's grown up wanting to wear the crimson and cream, and now he gets to. So it's a cool deal. And to close the loop on all of it, no, you don't have to worry about that kid transferring, at least not right now.
Yeah, okay, I agree on that. All right. So you talked about or you asked about just some of the stuff that Fasusi said in that scrum. And then look, he didn't just talk to the media in front of the cameras. He spent a good amount of time going one piece by piece down the line, just kind of talking to everybody and then mingled back around again. He's just such a, like I said, just such a magnetic personality. Um I he's very open about why he chose Oklahoma, Bill Bedenbaugh. Bill Bedenbaugh and the development and the faith driven part. I think what is not talked about enough and something that he's been now more open about as things got closer to decision time was the fact that it really wasn't a Texas OU battle. It was an OU A&M battle at the end. Texas was on the outside looking in, and there is no, if somebody says confidence or whatever on the Texas side, or they feel good right now that they can go in and flip, they're not reading the tea leaves correctly because he, again, is very open about the fact that his official visit went about as bad as it possibly could have of Texas. And at that point in time, he was open about it. I Parker, I think you told me he told another site that that was kind of the nail in the coffin for them was that OV, right? Like just very, I don't even, how would you even want to describe it? It's just the fact that he and his family, I don't think they felt as comfortable at Texas as they felt at A&M and Oklahoma, more specifically at Oklahoma. Oklahoma, he said the second he walked on campus, he's like, this is where I want to be. And he
Well,
said that in scrum
and like,
too.
and how do you spin that? Like from the other side, how do you spin that when the kid basically says in so many words, taking that visit to Texas made me realize how much I wanted to be at Oklahoma. Like that is not a kid you have to worry about. And I know,
I mean, unless Oklahoma goes like 4-8 or five
okay,
and
well,
seven, I
sure,
think, yeah,
but
I think,
you got to worry about everybody at that point if you go 4-8.
yeah.
Not somebody that catastrophe aside, you have to worry about playing games with you or flipping on you for the
Yeah.
next 4 months leading up to signing day. Michael Fasusi's entire message throughout the day today, and it was a very fun ceremony to watch, even through a camera lens. And I imagine it was that much more fun to be a part of, Brandon. But you could tell like he's all in with Oklahoma. He's legitimately excited and enthusiastic about it. And again, now the recruit hat comes off and the recruiter hat goes on.
Yeah. No, he is going to, he's gonna, I think Elijah Thomas has been like quietly the leader of this class behind the scenes. And I don't think that gets talked about enough. I think that mantle has been passed on very quickly to Michael Fasusi, or I guess like they can, you know, be a tag team on it or whatever. But um you and I talked about this on the phone earlier. The odds of them flipping somebody late in the process probably just went up just
Yeah.
because of Fasusi
Yeah.
alone.
Well, that's a guy that's going to have a lot of sway with his peers, a lot of sway. And, you think about the David Stone effect last year. You may see something similar with Michael Fasusi. In many ways, Fasusi is this class's David Stone, not just because he's the 5-star, but he's just a guy with a real magnetic personality and somebody that he's easy to warm up to, I guess. If at any point he's up there for an unofficial visit on a game day at Oklahoma, just meeting people, rubbing shoulders, all that type of stuff. He's a very easy guy to get to know. He doesn't carry himself with a pompous air. He's very humble and just takes a genuine interest in other people as well. So I think there's a lot of potential there for Oklahoma to be able to do something special with a guy that might be committed elsewhere, or maybe he's still out there on the board uncommitted. We talked about Babalola, we talked about Austin Pay. The other big target that's
Mm-hmm.
still out there for Oklahoma would be Christian Jones from Omaha. And does he make it down at some point in the month of September for another visit to Oklahoma? It kind of feels like you may need that to happen. Um, Especially if this does drag out into October, November, which I think you hope it happens in September. If it doesn't, if Jones doesn't commit in September, that's where you start to get nervous. But especially because it is so easy for him to visit Nebraska
Yeah.
as the hometown kid. If he does make the effort to show up to a game day at Oklahoma, you start to feel even more confident in your chances. And when you get the other commits around him, especially Fasusi, uh, that could be where you close the deal. That could be where you officially slam the door and lock it. And yes, folks, I have been glancing down at my phone quite a bit. Phone's been blowing up today with Fasusi texts, Babalola texts, so much more. It's been quite a day. Quite a day.
Yeah. The other thing I would probably add is Christian Jones is going to probably be there for the Tennessee game. Would be my bet, because that's where they're trying to push everybody to, is that night game versus Tennessee, the first SEC game. If that's the case and Oklahoma goes and shows out, like you said, you've got to feel confident in that arena. I think the other thing, and I was after we got off the phone earlier, I was thinking about kind of a comparison of class by class and what Fasusi's commitment meant to this class in comparison to what somebody else meant to their class. And almost the exact same month and almost the exact same time, only a week apart.
Mm-hmm.
In 2023, Oklahoma had a very similar person commit with a very similar personality. Just one was a defensive tackle, the other one's an offensive tackle. And we're talking about David Stone. Very similar. You saw the class for Oklahoma get better and better after Stone committed. You kind of felt like he was the cherry on top, right, of it, much
Mm-hmm.
like Fasusi is, but it was almost, it was kind of a what would you kind of ceremoniously saying Oklahoma's arrived and they are going to the way the recruiting is going to change? Well, I think similarly on the offensive side, particularly the offensive line, this is a very ceremonialist, a very how do I want to say it? A very big deal, I guess. Um, as far as Fasusi and his commitment, what it means to this class, what it means for Oklahoma and offensive line recruiting moving forward, I think is eerily similar what David Stone meant for defensive tackle recruiting. And you saw it roll over with Dominic Williams, Boyd Picard, Trent Wilson, right? Kamari Moore, like it just rolled over into 2025. And I say that because you also got a super chat over here asking about David Stone. Pro, appreciate it. What's the word on David Stone? Hearing a lot about Jaden Jackson, which is great, but a little concerning that there isn't a lot of buzz regarding Stone. Somebody asked this exact same thing on the message board today.
And here's
We've
here's a
talked about him
chat
a
from
lot.
earlier, not a super chat, but here's a chat that I love reading. Like this is I always love getting a comment like this. Allegedly, Jackson is better now, but Stone has the higher ceiling. That's what Teddy Lehman said. I love reading comments like that because, for one thing, obviously Teddy gets to watch a lot more practice than you and
Yeah.
I do. So it shows that everything that we're hearing from talking to sources behind the scenes lines up with
Yes.
reality. But also, like when you've been saying something for months and then boom, Teddy Lehman puts the stamp on it. Like sometimes in order for people to believe something, the
Mhm.
Butkus Award winner has to say it. So I'm glad that's the message that Teddy is sending with regard to Jaden Jackson and David Stone because I think it completely tracks. And I think it that's been evident for a while is that look, Jaden Jackson is probably the more ready-made dude as far as what he can add to this defense in 2024. And you will see David Stone. Right? Like David Stone's going to play. He's not just going to be an also ran on that depth chart. But where David Stone is really going to become a force is year 2, year 3,
Yeah.
because when he signed, he was what, 275 pounds, something like
Yeah.
that. So there's still some bulking to be done there. And he did do quite a bit of bulking in the spring.
Yeah.
He was tipping the scales at 300 before fall camp. But David Stone was not a finished product when he signed with the University of Oklahoma. And nor was Jaden Jackson for that matter. But Jaden Jackson, I think, was closer to a finished product than David Stone. It is absolutely true that Jackson is the guy that's more taped for a role in 2024 and may start next week when that first
I
team
think he will
defense
start
runs out on the
actually.
field.
I'm hearing he
But
probably is starting. Yeah.
but don't get it twisted. At some point in time, David Stone's going to look the part of a 5-star. It may take a little bit longer, but that's the
Gerald
David
McCoy.
Stone you're going to get.
Not everybody's a Tommy. I think that's the thing. A prime example, right? Um, Tommy Harris came in very ballyhooed,
Yep.
big name, superstar guy. So did Dusty Voracek, was a 3-star, but he came in and he made waves very early as well. Um, so there's kind of a similarity there, but at the same time, you have to understand that there's a difference in what Tommy Harris was being asked to do in comparison to what David Stone's being asked to do. Jaden Jackson's not being asked to do as much as David Stone as far as their positions go. You're a nose tackle. You're to plug up the A or the B gap, really cause a lot of chaos and a lot of jumbling up of the middle and the collapsing of the interior of the pocket. David Stone and the guys that play that position of defensive tackle are going to be asked to do a lot of stunts. They're going to be asked to do a lot of slants. They're going to be asked to do a lot of different things athletically compared to a nose tackle. And that's fine. But at the same time, you can't sit there and say, hey, well, he's not playing now. He's not going to be this 5-star or whatever. He's going to be in the rotation. He's probably the second or third guy out there as far as rotation goes. I would assume Grayson Halton and Dejon Terry will probably be your first 2 out. Then it'll be David Stone. And and they're going to play like he's probably going to get 30 snaps, 35 snaps a game. So you're going to see a lot of zero out there. And I'll make a bet that in the first 3 games, he'll have a sack. I think
Oh,
he'll have a sack in the first 3 games. I do. I do. One, competition isn't as great. I'm not sitting there saying that that's like a big deal, but you're going to see his name or he'll have a couple of
mhm.
big TFLs, one of the two. Like I just, he's going to make plays. That's the other thing about David Stone. We've heard practice, 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 but every time there's been a scrimmage, everybody's talked about him. And we wrote about it on OU Insider every time we had a update. David Stone had a big day. David Stone made plays in the backfield. David Stone did this. For some kids, for some players, practice is one thing, game is another. When the lights come on, they tend to shine. And so we'll see if that's still a fact with him. That was very much the fact with David Stone in high school. Let's see if that still
Yeah.
is a fact in college.
And non-con play is such a great opportunity for the young defensive linemen in particular to strut their stuff. I mean, you think about it, 2021, that's exactly when we kind of got a glimpse of the dude that Ethan Downs was going to be at Oklahoma. Remember that when he was
Yeah.
getting quite a bit of run in non-con play in the 2021 season as a true freshman? There were a couple of plays he made against Western Carolina, and okay, it's Western Carolina, but still, there were a couple plays that he made that day. You just kind of whistled at him. Oh man, that's going to play at some point. And it has, obviously, for Ethan Downs.
Yeah.
Kind of a similar phenomenon last year with PJ. PJ's game against Tulsa up in Green Country was the moment in time where everybody realized, okay, the hype for this kid is legit.
Yeah.
And granted, he didn't play near as much throughout the course of the conference slate as he did in non-conference play, but you still saw him, right? He was on
Mhm.
the field in crucial moments against Cincinnati. He was on the field in crucial moments against Texas. He was on the field in crucial moments against Kansas and Oklahoma State. So uh, if David Stone is as advertised, I don't know that you will see it in its fullness right away, but I agree with you, Brandon. I think you're going to start to see glimpses of it. Now, we got several super chats here. Virgil threw us $20. Thanks as always, Virgil. You're the man. He said, it's fun to celebrate good news. I couldn't wait to jump on and listen to you men chop it up. Thanks, Parker and Brandon, for all the work you put in. Let's go, Boomer Sooner. Thank you, Virgil. Austin Kendall. That Austin Kendall? Is that the Austin Kendall?
I
He
doubt
asked,
it.
can you guys give us the latest on your tailgate and its location? Thanks for what you do. Let us know in the chat if you are the Austin Kendall. I, if only for the sake of my own curiosity. What is the latest on the tailgate situation, Brandon? I know we got some plans laid out for the
Yeah,
season that is
we're
ahead.
just well this next week or so. Uh, somebody asked if I was drunk. I don't even drink, so I don't know. Um, some of the finished plans with our guy Russell. We're working on logistics, the site, and all that type of stuff. Well, I hope they're lined up by Monday or Tuesday of this next week, and we can start spitting out everything for you guys to know where to go, what to do, what to see. Because I'm not real sure if Friday is going to be logistically possible for us to really, because it's such a weird,
Yeah.
people are working, they're doing all that type of stuff. So I don't know if that's going to be available for this Friday, but I can tell you the next home game, it'll
Yeah.
be, and we will
Every
100.
home game that's on a Saturday, the tailgate will be rolling.
And we got a lot
Also,
of road games too.
yes, 3 of the 4 road games we will have the tailgate as well. I believe the only exception is LSU, which it's Thanksgiving weekend. So how many people are going to be tailgating that game anyway? In Baton Rouge, mind you. But while we have you all here, might as well mention this as well. Starting next week, which of course is week 1 of the season, this stream is moving to Monday nights. So change your
Oh,
calendars
I forgot about
accordingly.
that.
We're going to be streaming on Monday nights throughout the football season.
Yeah.
Figured it's just an easier way to splice up everything throughout the week. Makes life easier on us. Probably, I would imagine, makes life easier on y'all. So that is what we're going to
The,
aim for is Monday streams.
the only issue we will run into is if Monday night is when, if that is when we have post practice,
Yes, we may
because
There may be a couple instances where we have post-practice availability and we have to start the stream a little bit later than usual. But Monday nights is where you can plan on streams occurring throughout the football season. Uh, that'll be no doubt more convenient to some of y'all, less convenient to some of y'all, whatever the case may be. Uh, hang with us through football season, and we will tackle year one in the SEC together. Last super chat, at least, I don't think we've gotten any more since then. James Stimmick asked a question that had already been asked several times in the chat. What's with all the rumors with Boucard and Cortez Mills? And I guess there's some noise somewhere about Florida getting in-season OVs from Floyd Boucard and Cortez Mills. Look, I'll say here what I said on the radio today. First and foremost, let's see him follow through. Let's see him actually set concrete plans for a visit before you start wringing your hands. Because right now it is just,
where's all this coming from?
I don't know. But also, just beyond that, is there any reason right now, if you're an Oklahoma football fan, and certainly if you're the Oklahoma football program, is there any reason to be worried about Florida of all programs? We all see the writing on the wall for them in 2024, right? That schedule is brutal. Billy Napier is getting his strings pulled by the boosters and the powers that be down there in Gainesville. It's not a great situation. I think everybody realizes that Napier is on very unstable ground. And how on earth can you commit to a program like that right now, having no idea, no concrete idea who the head coach might be next year, what the roster might look like next year, what the depth chart might look like at your position? There, of course, come the balloons. Gosh.
That's for Fasusi, for pre-off for Fasusi, by the way. Celebrate.
But how dumb would it be to jeopardize your spot at a place like the University of Oklahoma? And I'm not even talking necessarily about Oklahoma specifically, just any school where there is stability and you're going to play highly competitive football in the SEC. Why jeopardize a spot at a school like that to take a visit to a school that is in such dire straits right now as Florida? I would get it. And I would say, okay, it's fair to have some healthy degree of concern if you're talking about Auburn, or you're talking about Tennessee, or heck, you're talking about Miami, right? But Florida, I am not moved. I am not concerned by whatever buzz is out there on Boucard and Mills right now. If they actually follow through with a visit to Florida, then we'll talk. Until then, I am hesitant to believe that anything tangible comes of that.
I tend to agree. Real quickly, Cody Mack, you asked what the name of that company was that I tend to wear. I've worn their polos a few times to help them out. It's at Shop Double Team. So go check it out. If you like them, go for it. I like it. Also, hey, now's a good time to go sign up for OU Insider. It's 60% off, $39, $61 off the regular price. And that ends Friday at 11 p.m. This will be the last promo, honestly, like the last promo that Rivals is going to run for, I don't know how long, maybe till Thanksgiving. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, we talked them into this one. All you have to do is use kickoff 2024 and all caps, all one word, kickoff 2024. You go to OU Insider and you can sign up right now for just $39, get a whole year. 1 year, $39 is regular price, $99.95. So essentially $61 off. It's worth it. We got a bunch of information up there today on recruiting, what OU's got next, what they're going to do. I got some team notes dropping tomorrow. I got class predictions dropping over the next few days as well for 2026. And plus, we're going to have full coverage of all of the season moving forward. what recruiting's left in 2025, and obviously all the big visitors from 26 and 27 that will be showing up for the Tennessee game and beyond. Like that is, if we've already dropped, how many 5 stars have we talked about on that? Like 3 or 4 that we know that are going to be there. If you're on OU Insider, you know who they are. But it's a huge, huge week.
It's an impressive list.
It's stupid. Maybe the most impressive list I can remember in a long time, or at least early as it stands, before we know people that cancel or don't show up, people that have already confirmed and said that they're going to be there. It's an amazing list. The list isn't up there, but if you go on OU Insider, you ask us about it, we'll post it. As we get closer to that date, we'll post more and more stuff. But if you sign up right now, $39 get you a whole year. All you have to do is go use that promo code kickoff 2024, all bold, all caps, one word, kickoff 2024. Also, if you're a college student, you have a .edu, email us ouinsider@rivals.com. We can give you a year for $11.95. Again, college student, you have a .edu. It has to be a .edu, and you have to email us from that .edu, and we can give you a promo code for $11.95 for a whole year of OU Insider. Again, ouinsider@rivals.com. Email us, and we will help you out. Go for it, Parker.
Hey, take Les's word for it. Les in the chat says, I paid full price and I like it. Get on board. It's hard to beat that deal. Thanks for the testimonial, Les.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Listen to Les. Les speaks the truth.
What was that? Who said it last week when they talked about our team notes they've been on message boards
Sooner
all over
Butch.
for 20 years.
Sooner Butch.
And they said it's the most information they've ever had in team notes over the last few days. That's what we try to do. That's what we try to do. We try to bring the goods as much as possible. And it's enjoyable. It's a community too. So you start your own threads, you do everything. Like you talk to other OU fans, you ask us questions, we answer. We're on there communicating with you every day. It's fun. It's a good time. Hope to see you guys there. All right, Jack Wright, $4.99. Thank you so much. Whoa, Austin Kendall, another one. Jack Wright, $4.99. You guys make me look smart when I talk to other people who don't watch you guys. You guys rock. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate the compliment. Parker, this one's for you.
Yes, the Austin Kendall again says, Parker, prayers up for your wife's safe return, being military and a military spouse myself. I understand the feeling. Appreciate you, Austin. Loved the battle that took place between you and Kyler Murray for the starting job in 2018. It was a ton of fun. Made for some good content.
Somebody said they texted. Blake Mangum said he texted. Thanks for the super chat, by the way, Blake. Just texted lone Pete coach for pay to go to OU.
So I guess Blake's got an in there. Now, here's what we need to communicate with regard to Austin Pape, because yes, OU is still involved there. There are many schools that are still involved there. If you look at the official visits that he took this summer, it's a kind of a weird list because it's a group of 5 schools that you would not figure, especially a kid in Utah for that matter, not a traditional group of 5 official visits, because look, dad played at BYU, brother plays at BYU right now. That's a BYU family. I've kind of always been under the impression that he was just going to wind up at BYU.
Yeah.
That was one of the schools he OV'd to. But the other ones, Brandon, the other 4 OVs that he took this summer were Oregon. Okay, that one makes sense. But Texas A&M was the third. It had Arkansas as one of his OV destinations and North Carolina State. So all over the place.
North Carolina State one's weird.
What I always will remember about Pape, this is kind of seared into my brain and my mental file about that recruitment. He was one of 3 nationally ranked players, only 3 nationally ranked players that were in attendance from outside state lines at the Sooners Black Friday game last year. Do you remember? Like it's an 11 a.m. kick the day after Thanksgiving. It was the lightest recruiting visitor list I've ever seen. It will only be one-upped by the visit list for the Temple game next week.
Was that TCU?
Yeah, it was TCU.
Yeah, it was
but
awful.
Austin Pape and his family were there. Yeah. They had made the trip in from Utah for that game. And they had gotten the chance to see Oklahoma 2 weeks before because they were at the BYU game that Oklahoma played at LaVell Edwards Stadium, where we got to see some Jackson Arnold. So they had just, or maybe it was the week prior. I think it was the week prior. They just watched OU the week prior. Then they came to
Was.
Norman to take in a home game. So, and of course, he camped last summer at Oklahoma. That's where he initially got the offer. So there's some interest there. There's some legit interest there, and it has persisted. The Sooners have continued to recruit Austin Peay, even though they didn't get a summer OV. But what makes this recruitment particularly interesting is that, like many folks in the state of Utah, he is a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Mhm.
And so he is going to serve a mission after graduating high school, a 2-year mission, as many of those folks do. And so that means he wouldn't enroll until 2027. So if indeed Austin Peay were to commit to Oklahoma, you can more or less think of him not as a 2025 commit, but as a 2027 commit. Because if he signs with Oklahoma in December, that's great, but you're not seeing him for another 2 years.
Yeah. Huh.
So interesting little wrinkle to that recruitment, and one that doesn't necessarily have a parallel as far as I can recall. I mean, Utah is obviously not a state OU has recruited very frequently. They pursued Cecilia Kana. They obviously hold a commitment from the top player in the state of Utah right now, and Darius Afalava, but that's the first guy that they've gotten from that state in a long, long time. So can't really recall a precedent, at least in my time in the field of recruiting.
Celia Kana.
Yeah, well, and yeah, there was the Cecilia Kana thing, but
That was such a brutal, like, not to pissing everybody's Cheerios on a happy day and all, but like that was such a weird, weird deal. Or you remember, like, he was
of
all
course,
OU,
yeah,
and you want to know the worst part about this, and this is probably going to make OU fans even more happy about the Fasusi deal, is that what hurt Oklahoma was that the OU staff, a lot of them were very close to Mike Leach, and that was around the time that remember the funeral was kind of being held at that point in time whenever that happened. And so they went to the funeral and kind of turned their phones off, thought everything was good, and were trying to focus on and do the right thing, mind you. And that was be present at Leach's funeral. And Texas took advantage of it, and everything turned sideways a little bit. And then the kid comes out. Probably the best part about it was that it was very telling. He was wearing a Hawaiian shirt that was just dollar bills flying. Remember? If that wasn't just kind of a, yeah, it was an IL homies type deal, then I don't know what was.
gosh,
It was a
man,
rough deal.
and that was annoying because, and there have been several of these recruitments over the years where I have just cooked everybody on being first through the wall with a prediction. And that's always a satisfying feeling, right? Like
Yeah,
Brandon, I'm sure you're feeling that today with Fasusi's commitment. But like there is a sense of satisfaction
my son would do
when
this.
yeah,
They would
there
call
is a
that
sense
crap.
of satisfaction when you can legitimately say, I had intel long before everybody else did that pointed in this direction. But it's happened on so many occasions where like I've put in a prediction and then it's looked really, really good for a long time. And everybody else in the industry had kind of piled. I think there were like 8 predictions on
Mhm.
signing day from national experts all over the place for Oklahoma for Cecilia Kana. And I had beaten them all by like 4 months. And I'm sitting there and I'm feeling great.
Yeah, his
Right. And
dad
then
said it
boom,
was
he
OU
flips.
too.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
flips to Texas and it's all for naught. Same thing happened just a couple months ago with Cade Petchak. I was like, come on, man.
It happens quite often. Um, so yeah, no, the again the Fasusi pick, and now that this is all over, um, I'll just say it outright, was pretty much told that, and it's from people down in the DFW area, said, look, man, they had a meeting with the family about 10 days ago. And this was probably, I get it would probably be about 2 weeks now. And essentially, the family laid out the pros and cons. And those pros and cons ended up being very positive for Oklahoma, to where mama was like, "You're going to Oklahoma." And I even had somebody call me today after the announcement. They do a parent panel to where the current players' parents that are locally in Oklahoma City, when the kids come and do official visits, and they'll sit up there and they'll answer questions like, I guess, Josh Norman will ask a question and the parents will answer on the grounds of how they feel about that certain situation and all that type of stuff on the official visits. Well, they did an open forum at the end of it, and I was told Fasusi's dad asked so many questions and then pulled one of the parents to the side and asked more questions. And at that point in time, said parent thought that kid's going to be a Sooner, because why else would dad be so, focused in on such the minute details of every little thing that Oklahoma had to offer and didn't have to offer for his son that's only going to be 2.5 hours away. So it's been trending in that direction for a long time. Parker and I decided one of us had to do it at some point, and I just randomly decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And we don't do that lightly with 5 stars, by the way. It takes a lot to put in a pick for a 5-star, because if you do, you better be willing to pay the piper if it goes wrong. Again, why we never put in a pick for Jonah Williams, that, and we were told not to. So, but we did put one in on our board where I said if he doesn't go to OU, that's an L for me. So it's still an L. All
Yeah.
right, Parker.
Blake Mangum has some intel for us. He says, just
Uh-oh.
got info. Austin is down to Oregon, BYU, OU most likely. Bama may enter the picture, but his coach is going to tell him to go OU or bust. So there you go.
Boom.
Per our Lone Peak spy, Blake Mangum, Austin Peay has an unofficial top 3.
There it is.
Thanks, Blake. Keep
There
us
you
posted.
go. OU insiders for the win. Got the spies everywhere.
No joke.
Sleuths.
Shoot me a DM on Twitter, Blake. We'll stay in touch. Ill Midnight says, I'm going to my first Oklahoma game September 7th. Congrats.
Yeah.
Always a memorable one, the first game. Oklahoma versus Houston. What should I do for game day? Well,
go to OU Insider Tailgate.
I was about to say, start with that. Build your schedule around that.
If you like to drink, we do provide alcohol.
Oh, do we?
I thought we were going to do. Well, I'll just say it. From what I'm hearing, there are potential for margarita and daiquiri machines at our tailgate this year. I heard it. There is a rumor. There's rumors going around that may be happening. So, you can come on by, say hello, and tip one back if you want to. So, and then we'll have the college football game for you to play. We'll have a TV with that, and we'll have a TV with actual games on. So, all in good fun. We'd like to have a good time. Burgers, brats, hamburgers. Sometimes we mix it up. There's been
burgers
barbecue.
And hamburgers, folks.
Burgers, but yeah, cheeseburgers is what I meant to say. But but sometimes we mix it up. There's been barbecue. There's been I can't remember. Did we do fish last year too, if I remember correctly? Something to that extent. Like Russell is crazy. He does some, and everybody needs to thank Russell Jenkins, because without Russell Jenkins, this thing does not go off. So that guy's a man. And there's probably more news coming as far as some things with OU Insider on Campus Corner and all kinds of stuff. Not opening up whatever, but an office.
The OU Insider tailgate will be SEC ready, folks.
It will be SEC ready. So get prepared. Get prepared. All right, Parker. Season starts next week.
It does. It sure does.
A lot of people are wanting to talk, depth chart, all that type of stuff. Offensive line, are they healthy? Are they unhealthy? I don't know. Like
the thing that's getting the most interaction right now, like the topic on the radio, on social media, that generates the most of the biggest frenzy is the kicking competition because people hate Zach Schmidt, Brandon. People hate Zach Schmidt.
Yeah.
Now, Zach Schmidt is, I believe he's majoring in like chemical engineering or something. So he's a bright young man with a bright future. And I think, I don't think anybody has anything against him as a person. But after what they saw last year, there are many who are out on the Zach Schmidt experience. But as things stand right now, it would seem he's got the inside track on Tyler Keltner to win the kicking job. The word is Zach
That's
Schmidt
from
has had a
room.
really, really good fall camp. Now, does it translate to Saturdays when you're kicking in front of 86,000 people instead of 150? Maybe. I don't know. It's not my place to say. But you have Schmidt battling Keltner. It would seem for now that Liam Evans is going to take a red shirt and assume the role in 2025. But Brandon, I'll just say this: you hope for OU's sake that one, if not both of those guys, prove to be a reliable option in the field goal kicking department. But when one of them is a 74% career kicker and one of them is a 76% career kicker, you get it that there's some uneasiness there.
I just go for it. Just go for it. I mean, analytically speaking, right? Like, just go for it on fourth down.
What if it's like 4th and 15?
Oh, okay. Well, within reason, fourth and 8 and under, go for it. I get it. You want to put some points on the board every now and then, but analytically speaking, at this juncture, like if you actually look into the analytics, they would tell you to go for it because more often than not, you will get more points throughout the game by going for it than you do for actually kicking a field goal. And does that make sense? It doesn't feel like it does, but I guess people that crunch the numbers say it does. And BV, but I'm not going to say unfortunately, but BV is a defensive minded coach. There is hell would have to freeze over for him to go for it on 4th and 8 a lot of times or every time and not kick a field goal. I think at some point in time in our career covering football that the kicker might be non-existent, period. And they may
Well,
just go for it and because kickoffs and all that may be gone. I
I
don't
don't know
know.
about that. You're always going to need a kicker.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the NFL XFL kickoff thing. It's
Oh, it's
weird.
stupid. It's stupid. That's a conversation for another day, but that is completely ugh. Ugh.
It's hard
Keep
to
that
watch, man.
far away from college football. Far
Please.
college football, at least up until this point, has been largely untouched by all of the innovation, and it seems like that word has too good of a connotation for me to use it in reference to what the NFL has been doing because I don't like a lot of what the NFL has been doing. But thankfully, college football has not really implemented any of that. Yes, I guess they are stopping the clock after first downs now, and or wait, they're not stopping the
No,
clock
they're
after
not
first
stopping at the
down,
first
and
down,
they
which
and they
I
got the
hate.
2 minute
I
warning, but all of this newfangled kickoff BS. Don't ever bring that to college
stop the
football.
commercials. That's all you have to do. Like instead of ruining the freaking stopping the clock in the first down, because I thought that helped make the games more competitive because you had a lot of really fun last second drives when that was possible. And I know that they stopped the clock under 2 minutes and all that, but the games just felt like there was more points scored. There was a lot of, I don't know. All you have to do is TV guys. I know you want to make money, charge more for the commercials that they do throw out there and not have as many.
There was a
Inside.
listener that asked if Zach Schmidt was one of the guys that got beat up on video. That was back in 2020. No, that was Spencer Jones was the one that just
That was
got.
Spencer. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Spencer
Spencer
Jones.
Jones just got railed on. There was another OU special teamer that was there. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't Zach Schmidt, but yeah, no,
Lesson
I
learned. Don't talk crap to wrestlers.
facts. You see the cauliflower ear, pick a different battle.
Former military hands, we're trained hand to hand combat. And there's zero chance I would mess with the rest of them. Still this day. Zero chance. they nope. Nope. So yeah, don't do it. Ask Spencer Jones. Ask Spencer Jones. That had to be embarrassing, by the way. So, anyways, not to hate on somebody.
Well,
How
we're at an
about
hour. Do we got anything else to talk about?
not really, but Clement 14 has a really funny one. It says, how about a nice NIL package for UCF's kicker?
Wait. Hang on.
And
Oh,
it
yeah,
just like
Colton Boomer.
disappeared right in the middle of me reading it.
Colton Boomer. Yeah, that's an OU name. I think I made a comment about that in my post-game column last year that OU needed to tamper with Colton Boomer, find a way to get him to Norman. Stubby in the chat says, Parker, I watched you when you were younger and now you're a sellout. A sellout? Elaborate, please. I would love to know. How am I a sellout, Stubby? Ridiculous.
You're
Ridiculous.
making money.
I know. Imagine that.
Damn you. All right. All right. Hey, seriously, we appreciate you guys being on here with us today. This has been a fun day for OU fans. And why not celebrate? If we can get some more of those balloons, that'd be great. But you know what else you can do? You can go to OU Insider VIP. You can sign up. $39. It's 60% off right now, and that ends 11 p.m. on Friday, August 23rd. You want to sign up, you want to do it now. Get you a whole year for $39, regularly priced at $99.95. So $61 off the regular price. It's an amazing deal. You'll get all sorts of information. You get to talk to Parker, myself, Jesse, Brian, Brody all day, every day. We're on the boards. We're throwing up information. Brody, I think, has got some basketball information. Did he throw it up yet?
Yeah, he did, and it's information that I don't believe anybody has yet. But that's
Yeah,
that's the
again,
life that
that's a
Brody
Brody
lives. He's
thing
ahead of
right
the curve
there.
with everything.
He kicks everybody's butt in basketball coverage. That is unequivocally, you cannot argue that at all. You cannot. So go to OU Insider, sign up, $39. We'll get you a whole year. It's worth it. All the football information, the recruiting information. Again, like I said, team notes, recruiting predictions, class predictions, all that. We have all that on a day-to-day basis for you guys. And plus, we're answering your questions. We're talking to you. You have questions about people behind the scenes, we got it. We'll answer you on OU Insider VIP. You can start your own threads. You can talk to all the thousands and thousands of other OU fans that are on there. It is worth it. The community is fun. Again, $39. All you have to do is use the promo code KICKOFF2024, all one word, all caps, kickoff 2024. Get yourself 60% off and only $39 for the whole year. If you're a college student, you have a .edu, and you have to have a .edu, and you email us ouinsider@rivals.com. We will give you OU Insider for $11.95. We want all the college kids to feel like they have a place that they can go to cheap. We understand money's tight. $11.95. Email us from your .edu. You can get OU Insider for a whole year, $11.95, and we will give you a promo code for that as well. That's less than $1 a month. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, do whatever you've got to do on this YouTube channel. Get us to 20,000 as fast as possible. We'd love to hit that before the end of the season. I'd love to hit that by Texas if that was possible. So Sooners fans, college football fans, like, subscribe this YouTube channel right here. Podcast listeners, like, subscribe, give us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to us on. For Parker Thune, for Spencer Forsythe on the board, my name is Brandon Drum. You guys have a blessed night.